Hello and welcome to another episode of the Asian Seller Podcast. I'm your host, Meghla Bharadwaj. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Shopify, how you can run and scale a Shopify store on your own. And to talk about this, I've got Thomas from Japan, and he runs his own Shopify store. Hey, Thomas, how are you doing?
Hi, thank you. I'm good, thanks.
Thanks a lot for joining me today. So, very interesting topic. We haven't talked about Shopify on this podcast before, and a lot of our listeners are interested in learning about Shopify. So, very interested to learn how you're managing your Shopify store. So, before that, Thomas, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? What exactly do you do? You live in Japan, right? So how did you end up in Japan? How long have you been there?
Sure.
Tell us your story.
Sure. So I'm originally from France, and I came to study in Japan at Kyoto University in 2003. And I thought I'd be here for just 1 year, and I'm still here 17 years after. You know, yeah. Basically, after being in Japan, I wanted to stay 1 more year to study more Japanese, and then I found a job, and then I got married to a Japanese woman. So I ended up there, and I started my business in 2008.
Okay, awesome. So tell us a little bit about your brand. So it's called Bento and Company, right? So what
Yeah,
kind of
Bento&co.
products?
Yeah.
Bento&co, sorry, yes. And so what kind of products do you sell, and how are the products different or unique?
Yeah, so we sell Japanese lunch boxes without the food inside. We sell the box and every accessories around it, you all the things you need for lunch to go. We also sell some food, some snacks, and some kitchenware as well.
Okay, I see. So it's basically the bento box that people can take for school lunches or office lunches. And
Exactly. Yes.
okay, and they come with cutlery and everything, right?
Yeah, chopsticks,
Okay,
bags to wrap them, of course, bottles for drinks as well.
okay, I see. So where are your products manufactured?
Most of them are made in Japan. And we work about with 40 different suppliers in Japan. And yeah, most of the bento boxes, I would say 80% of the one we sell are made in Japan. And mostly by craftsmen or small, medium size makers from countryside of Japan. So it's a very interesting world, I would say. And most of them, they don't export at all. So what is unique about our brand is we try to make Japan closer. We bring new market to these makers, and we are really happy to share this part of Japanese cultures to people abroad.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And so how are your bento boxes different from, let's say bento boxes available on other websites or by other brands?
So we have we are a bento boxes specialist. So we have a really large product range, a few hundreds different SKUs just for bento boxes. So some of them are really Japanese, really traditional in the design, and some of them are more modern and practical, for everyday use. Even if you are not into Japanese cultures, you can find a really nice box for yourself on our website, and that's what makes the difference. We target both people who love Japanese cultures and people who just want a nice box to bring, for their kids or for themselves at work.
That's interesting. So what materials are these boxes usually made from?
So usually, the most particular just made out of plastic, very good quality plastic, made in Japan. So they're microwave and dishwasher safe, and very easy to clean. But we also have some stainless bento boxes made from Thailand or India as well. Because we are bento box and lunchbox specialists, we also want to introduce some of other Asian different type of lunchboxes, and also have some products made of wood from craftsmen in Japan, more expensive one, of course.
Okay. Yeah, I like how you have just focused on one product category and you kind of specialize in that one product category, and you're, probably known as the experts of the, bento box. So do you sell on Amazon as well and Shopify, both?
So mostly Shopify, and we have also accounts on Shopify, on Amazon, Japan, US, and Europe. But actually, since a few 1 year now, we don't really use it anymore. We do want to focus on our brands, and Shopify for us is the way to go since the beginning, actually, because I think focusing when you want to build like something, and when you are on a niche, it's difficult to compete with other sellers sometimes on marketplaces, and being on Shopify make it much more easier for us to focus on what we do, also on marketing, promoting our products on social media and so on. So yeah, mostly now it's only on Shopify. Okay. And we have 4 different accounts actually on Shopify.
Okay. So when did you start selling on Shopify? How long?
In 2008.
2008.
So I was actually on the beta test in Shopify in 2006, and I set up like a website for the Japanese company I was working in back then. And so I knew the platform since the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so when I started to figure out what I could do myself, I wanted to be my own boss. I was freelance in 2008, and I started to sell bento boxes because I thought it was like very interesting, a very unique product. And so yeah, I started to sell on Shopify since then, and using both Shopify and PayPal at that time as the 2 tools I needed while being in Japan, and to set up like an online store easily without being a developer myself, and to get payments using PayPal was working at the time already in Japan. To get payment back in US dollars or in euros was okay. So yeah, it was easy to start even 12 years ago.
Okay. And so now, of course you have other businesses, but what kind of revenue are you doing with, this e-commerce website, with the Shopify website?
So it's about, so we do, on Shopify, we do both B2B and B2C.
Okay.
All right. And revenue is about like 200 million yen, so which is a bit less than $2 million per year.
Okay. And this is only from Bento&co?
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. That's quite good. So then, one of the biggest challenges that people face running a Shopify website is really driving traffic to the site. Because, on Amazon, of course, one of the biggest advantages of selling on Amazon is that there is the buyer traffic over there already. So what do you guys do to drive traffic to your website?
So at first, like 12 years ago, it was lucky, I would say. Before creating Bento&co, I was a blogger like for 3 years. Like every day I blogged about Japan and Japanese culture. So at that time I used like a platform called Typepad. I'm not sure it exists anymore. And every day I've got about like 600 to 1,000 of unique visitors on my blog. Mm-hmm. And everyone, of course, they were just interested into Japanese cultures. So that's when I figured, okay, maybe I should do a business about it. And it's when I got the idea of selling bento boxes and kitchenware online. And so basically, every people who read my blog, they just became customers. So, and also like before launching my website, actually, I was talking on my blog about it. So like during like 3 weeks, every day, I was just writing about like the process of building this Shopify site and, getting stock, taking pictures of the product myself, managing, like thinking about how we're going to ship the orders and so on. Every day I was just talking like just freely about that. I didn't hide anything. I just like, okay, I want to sell this. I'm sure it's going to work. And this is how I will do. Even before everything was ready. And I think it's really important when you want to sell something, when you have like an interesting idea, it's okay, I think, to share about it. And a lot of people and a lot of online sellers, before starting, they're just afraid of telling too much because they're afraid of other people like just copying their own ideas. And maybe it will happen, but I think if you share, like much more good things will happen to you than like, bad things like people like copying you, because the most important thing is like the passion you have and all the energy you bring into your project. So, I got all these like first customers were just people who read my blog. And because I was telling about it, other bloggers talked about it. They said, oh, there's like this French guy in Japan, like starting a Shopify stores and selling bento boxes. And so this just bring over like people interested into it. And so that's how everything started. From the beginning, like all the traffic I got my blogs just helped me to start the site. And 2 hours after I launched Shopify store, I got my first order with 2 hours. And I've got orders like every day since 12 years, thanks to that. So of course now like everything changed. Blogging is like not doing so well for us in our niche. Back then, 10 years ago, there's a lot of bloggers in US, in Europe, like blogging about bento recipes and bento boxes. Not the case anymore. Most of them, they just quit blogging, or some of them on Instagram. And so now most of the marketing we do is like, we use AdWords to bring traffic, and of course, Facebook and Instagram for us. And so it's mostly like pay marketing, right? But we are still, like working a lot on adding contents in-house. So like on the blog for us, on Instagram, of course, and also on YouTube channel.
Okay. So content marketing has been very important for you to drive traffic, right?
Yes, since the beginning, yes.
Since the beginning, okay. Yeah, I think that's a very good point, because otherwise it gets very difficult to rank on search results and really, I mean, people just don't know who you are, right? I mean, there's so many people who just put up a Shopify website with like 5 products and never make a sale at all. So it's quite incredible what you've done. And I guess, so are you still doing have you built a community as well? Because I think that's also so important, right? When you're building your own brand and when you have your own products. So how do you build your community and build your audience?
Yeah. So 12 years ago, it was much easier to build a community, I think. Even if there's like less people on Facebook or everywhere, it was much easier because it was almost like free to do. Back then, if people remind, like 10 years ago, pages were not a thing. It was only Facebook groups. And we were able like to build a group on Facebook and to send emails for free to everyone, actually. So it was like really, really nice. So we still have, of course, a Facebook page now, and we can communicate with people. But even if people, like a post or like are engaged, I think it's much more difficult now to get people really become like a fan to a customers than it was like 10 years ago. Now you have to spend money on it, and you also like compete with so many other like sellers online to get their people times actually. So the community, what we are still like working on and building since 2008 is like every year we do like a contest. Every year since 2009 actually, we have this like international bento contest. And so every year we have a different theme, and we ask for people to just make a bento and send the pictures to us. And so, and the first of this contest, the winner, we offer him like a trip to Japan, actually, a ticket to fly to come to visit us in Kyoto. And so we have done that for like more than 10 years now. And so every year, we get contents, we get nice pictures, and we can use these pictures on our website, on our social media. And so we have, hundreds of nice pictures of bento box with food inside. Plus, we build like some people, if are interested into Japanese cultures, they can win a trip too. So it costs, like the cost of the flight is, I think, quite small comparing to all the media we got like on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, thanks to that contest.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So have you also tried things like ManyChat, Facebook Messenger, ManyChat, those kinds of chatbots?
No, we have a chat box on our website. And so anytime when we are online, people can contact us for customer support. But we haven't tried that on chatbot on Messenger and so on. To I, I'm not 100% for that. Like best marketing ever is like newsletter. We send like email about our new products and promotion every week, and people, they subscribe to it. They're okay to get it, but like contacting people on Messenger or over like chat, it's sometimes you feel why people are contacting me like directly like to this. So I think it doesn't feel well with our community and customers. So that's why I prefer that we pay ads, of course, on Google Display, and we use social media, like especially Instagram and Facebook. And but like to get people coming back to our website, since the beginning, email marketing, it seems the best solution for us.
Okay. What about videos? Are you increasingly using, video content on your website and also in your marketing?
On a YouTube channel since a year and a half, so about 2 years. Yeah, we did much more videos. We had a lot of videos as well on Instagram stories and Facebook, and Instagram stories and the YouTube channel bring a lot of new traffic and make us to, of course, like show in a really nice way both our products and also like some videos about Kyoto, Japanese culture, so people like it. And of course, yeah, I really regret actually that we didn't start like a YouTube channel 10 years ago, because it could be like so much better now for us to have been like more video contents back then. But video is not easy. It costs money to make if you want to make it well. So you really need someone who understand how to make videos and use the light and use a nice camera for it.
Right. So what percentage of your sales are cross-border and what percentage are domestic in Japan?
Online cross-border represent more than 90% of what we do.
Okay.
So
Okay,
we have
it's mostly
a store in Japanese as well, but we don't sell that much in Japan. But we have a brick and mortar store in Kyoto.
Oh, okay. And that brick and mortar store is only for bento boxes, or is it for other things as well?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty
Bento box
cool.
and all the accessories you need around it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So how do you manage order fulfillment?
So until August 2018, we used to have our stock in the same building as our store and office. And so since 2 years now, we moved this stock to a 3PL in Osaka, not so far from here. And so they manage like, they have our inventories, and they have an app to connect with Shopify for inventory management. And they use the solution we made in-house to manage shipping.
Okay. And the whole process is automated and seamless, right? So from your Shopify website, it's when there's a sale made on the website, then they are sent the alert or whatever, and then they do the fulfillment, right? There's no manual process involved. Is that correct?
So we can choose manually actually to ship this one or don't wait for this one. But so yeah, we have access here to the interface of their warehouse management system, so we can communicate with them like automatic, to ask to ship orders or not. But yeah, they made an app, so connecting with Shopify API, so they get orders information and inventory information from the API.
Okay. And we'll talk about your tool that you built, that you have, Ship&go. We'll talk about that in a little while as well, because that's pretty useful for Shopify sellers. So, what are some of the mistakes that you've made along the way, especially related to, the Shopify website and marketing the Shopify website?
So mistakes, as I said, I think it's really difficult to realize that while you are doing the mistake. It's like a few years after I would say, yeah, we should have spent much more energy on producing contents on our blogs and YouTube channel. That's something I really regret now. And also a few years back, I think we spend way too much time managing a Facebook pages instead of spending time on our own website. Changing the product on your homepage, uh, adding more contents on your product pages. I think it really makes a difference. And I think sometimes sellers, I guess, get lost on and spend too much time on like managing social media instead of managing their own contents. And like your about us page is really important. Just telling who you are and what the value of your website are is important, especially when you're a small brand and you want to build this community. And also like, giving a lot of information on your product page, because it's what you can do when you compare to like Amazon and other marketplaces. Like if you sell on Shopify, if you sell on your own website, even if it's Magento or WooCommerce, you really need to bring like nice pictures of your own products, like pictures you cannot find on Amazon, because this is your own website. So you have to bring like nice pictures and like contents, and maybe tell about like your suppliers, about how this product was made, where it was made, and much more details to just like to have like a more small store, like a brick and mortar store feeling inside your website. I think is more important, because you are not Amazon. So Amazon, they have like nice tool and bring traffic to you, and you on a direct sell type of store, you should like bring all this like personality of yourself to your website.
Right, that makes sense. So why did you decide to stop selling on Amazon?
First of all, it didn't work that much. I don't think we have a good experience for what we do. In Japan, it'd be like really difficult to compete with other like suppliers. Some of the makers we work with actually also like they sell directly on Amazon, so there's nothing we can do here. And basically, our strategy is not to be the cheapest one. It's it's to bring our own product. So some of the product we sell on Bento&co, we can find them on Rakuten in Japan or on Amazon, but some, of course, not. And what make our website unique is you can find like a very large range of SKUs, items, about bento boxes and all these accessories around it. And if you want to buy this one and this one and this one, it's only a website. Maybe much more difficult even on Amazon.
Right. So what are some of the best practices, would you say, for running a Shopify store?
So first, you have to know Shopify. And Shopify, since more than 10 years now, is changing quite a lot. Even myself, if I don't look at the admin every day, there's like always like new features, especially like since a couple of years, since they bring a lot of localization for like outside of North American market. Now you can use Shopify in Japanese, in Chinese, in French, in German, in Spanish. So like they really put a lot of effort to bring localization to it. But like all the new tools, like now you can add like country of origin and HS code to your product. You have new way to manage shipping as well. I think it's really important to look at Shopify, and everything is quite logical. You just need to spend a little bit of time to understand how it works. And many times you don't need an app to add to Shopify. You can manage settings the way you want to start to sell. And I think it's also very important to, instead of thinking about, I want to do that, so let's see how it works inside Shopify. First of all, you see Shopify works that way. So maybe you should adapt your the way you want to sell, the way you want to manage the design of your theme, the way Shopify brings it to you, because they made a very good job at making things like easy and simple. And I think if you adapt yourself to the way Shopify works, it makes things easier for your customers.
Right.
But if you have used Magento like for 5 years, maybe you have a tricky way to think about stuff, and that's not good.
Yeah. So what kind of product categories do you think should sellers consider when they are doing their own Shopify store? I mean, it looks like your product, I mean, you're very specialized and it's a very niche market. So do you think these kinds of niche products where there is a fan base, where there are people passionate about a certain thing, do you think those kinds of categories do better on a Shopify, standalone store?
I guess it really depends on then how you do marketing and if you have like a community around it or not. But I have a good example of people I know, foreign sellers in Japan, using a Shopify to do kind of like Amazon, like to basically to offer on a Shopify store everything you can find in a drugstore or on a supermarket in Japan, and like all commodity products. And here it's still kind of a niche because it's all what you can find only in Japan, only in the drugstores, but it's like very large as well. So of course, like all the beautiful Shopify stores you can find are like brands, like brands who sell directly to their customers. So like D2C is really big on Shopify, and of course it works well because if you have something nice, people will talk about it and they come to your website and it will work. But yeah, I mean, you can use Shopify even like if you want to sell, like a very large catalog, it works as well. It works as well for B2B, and they have really powerful tool for B2B on Shopify as well.
Okay. So let's say someone wants to start a Shopify store today. First of all, how many products do you think they should start with? I mean, is there, like sort of a benchmark? Should have at least, 5 SKUs or 10 SKUs to start with, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter. There's some brands starting with just one product, but if you have one powerful product that something you thought about it, something bringing like some really good stuff. I don't remember but there's maybe like a tripod for iPhone, like for example. We have a very nice design, and you so see on the Kickstarter, some people will think about one product and launch it on Kickstarter, and then they start selling on Shopify. It works well as well. So yeah, you can start with just one SKU or like 1,000 or 5,000. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. And what other advice would you have for someone who is thinking of starting a Shopify store today?
I will say they should definitely go for it. Shopify offer many ways to start for cheap actually. And if you open like a developer account, you can play around with Shopify store just to see how it works without launching it publicly. But you can play around, work on the design yourself, and see how it works first before launching it officially.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your service, Ship&Co. What is it exactly, and how does it help sellers?
So Ship&co, we made it for ourselves first. Basically, we needed to ship orders every day from our office with Japan Post, DHL, FedEx, UPS, and we have customers in many different countries. So every time we get orders, we got the shipping address. And if you want to put the shipping address into DHL or FedEx, what do you do? The only solution we have is just copy and pasting addresses. So when you have like 50 to 100 orders a day, you're going to spend hours in front of your computer just to copy and pasting. Or maybe some of carriers, they have you can upload a CSV, but still it's not the best way to do. So we wanted to just take the chance of using Shopify API, which is really powerful, and connect Shopify API with DHL and FedEx APIs. So by doing so and having Ship&co in the middle, we get orders data from Shopify, and we send this data to DHL, for example, and we get the tracking numbers and get the shipping labels to print, and boom, that's all. So we did that for ourselves about 4 years ago, and first connecting Shopify with Japan Post, DHL FedEx, UPS, and then we started to launch this solution to over Shopify sellers. Actually, now we connect with Shopify, with eBay, with Amazon, with Rakuten, Yahoo in Japan, Magento, WordPress, PrestaShop, and we also have Ninja Van in Southeast Asia working with us, SF Express, ECMS as well, Austria Post, French Post. So we connect with many different platforms and carriers in Japan, but also like in Southeast Asia and now in Europe.
Okay, so Ship and Go, basically, if I've understood it correctly, it takes the customer's information from Shopify and then sends it to your DHL or whatever courier account you're using or fulfillment company that you're using, to that account so that you can print your shipping labels and everything easily, right?
Exactly. So on Ship&co interface, you get your orders from your stores. Mm-hmm. Could be 1 or 2 stores or 5 stores. If you sell on 5 Amazon stores and 1 Shopify, it's okay. We can get all this data on Ship&co interface, and from Ship&co, then you can, let's say you have 1 DHL and 1 FedEx account, you can compare shipping rates from your account, and then print the shipping labels you want. And then we tracking numbers is sent back to a store, to Amazon or to Shopify. We change the status of your orders. Your customers get the shipping notification with tracking numbers.
So is this all automated, or do you have to like do something manually as well?
Yeah, you just need to click on the button to print the shipping labels.
So once you have the orders,
2 clicks. Yeah. Yes.
2 clicks. So how is Ship and Go different from other similar solutions like EasyShip is another one, right? Yeah. So how are you different from EasyShip?
So first, like our main business model is different because we do not sell cheap shipping rates, right? So the sellers, they use their own DHL, their own Japan Post, their own FedEx account, their own Japan account. So we don't want to compete with carriers, actually. And they really don't like that, actually. They don't like solutions who just promote themselves, get the cheap rates, compare with other carriers, and get cheap down. Because when you do that, first of all, as a solution, you need to be in charge of shipping and if, so we don't do that. We connect your stores with your carriers. And because we have this experience to sell on Shopify for 10 years, we made it for ourselves. So we know how the UI should be for people working in the warehouse. And that's where I think our difference is. Business model, we don't sell cheap rates. You use your carrier, so we target more like mid-size, large-size sellers. We already have an account with DHL, for example, and also we thought a lot about the UI and to make it super easy for people who prepare orders and work in the warehouse.
Okay. So what kind of customers do you have for Ship and Go, and mostly in which countries?
So mostly in Japan, because it's where we started. Okay. And I think we have about half of sellers who do cross-border, half of sellers who just do domestic within Japan. We have a lot of sellers on Shopify, obviously, because Shopify App Store make it easy for us to market our app. But we also have a lot of sellers in Japan on eBay. So the 100% of them sell cross-border, of course. And of course, Amazon on Amazon marketplaces in Japan, US, Europe. And we get more and more like Shopify sellers in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Thailand as well, in Europe and Canada.
Okay, that is cool. That is cool. Okay, that was really good, Thomas. So can you tell people how they can get in touch with you, like where to get more information about Ship and Go, and in case anyone wants to buy a bento box, where do they find your website?
Yeah, so bento&co.com, shipandco.com as well. And anyone free to contact me at thomas@shipandco.com or thomas@bento&co.com.
Okay, cool. I'll put the links in the show notes and the email address in the show notes as well.
I'm really happy to share, the story about Shopify and question about logistics for Japan. We are thinking actually to launch as well a fulfillment service for sellers here. So
okay, fulfillment service, like a 3PL kind of service.
yeah, everything automated for Shopify sellers in Japan,
Okay.
both
Okay.
domestic and international cross-border.
Awesome. Okay, well, Thomas, thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of
Thank
this
you.
great information. And I hope to
Thank
see you in Singapore soon.
Yes, I will. I will be there soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.